Hello, guess who and guess what? The guess who is Robbie Susan Chandler, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator who lives in Quincy, Florida, right outside Tallahassee, Florida. If you're in the area, I'd love for you to come over and attend my classes. I hold classes every 2 weeks in my home, and I'm here and ready to go whenever you are. But the guess what is this beautiful card that my customers made for Mother's Day, and for those who didn't have mothers, and we made it a birthday card, and today I'm going to make it a birthday card. But let me show you the whole card. The highlight is the Everyday Arches dies, and it opens up like this. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And it sits up on the table like that. But when you're opening the card, it opens this way. Isn't that beautiful? So let's look at all the pieces to this card and see how we put it together. Sit it right over here. All right, our base piece, I actually used the 12 by 12 Whisper White paper. I think it's called Willow White now. And I cut this piece 3.5 by 12. Now, if you just wanted to use 8.5 by 11 piece, you could cut it 11 by 3.5, and you would just have an ½ inch shorter on the ends, which would come in about right here on each end, which probably really wouldn't make much difference. So that's just another option, but I went on and used the 12 by 12, and I scored it at scored it at 4 and 8, and then just folded it into the 3 sections like these. All right, so that's our base. Let me get that out of the way. And then the next level are the green arches. I'm going to pull this one over I've been working on. So I cut these granny apple green arches out of the Everyday Arches. We use these dies for the next 3 layers. And I used the largest one for these 3. So like I said, this is granny apple, and it's cut with the largest one, and let's just go ahead and pop it right down here on the card. We're going to kind of adhere some parts of this card together and just put a little here, don't go out too far, and just lay this piece right on there. And I left a little tiny border at the bottom and a little on the side, just like that. Now I found out if you cut this at 4 inches and come all the way up to 4, which is what I did here. It was too much arch showing in here, and I found it looked better if you cut it at 3.5 or even maybe 3, so that white doesn't go up as far. So that was an adjustment I made after I made this card, and then I started cutting for my classes. Now our next level is the Daffodil Delight, and we use the next size arch. This is actually the, this is the third to the largest arch, and we cut 3 of those. Now I'm going to show you what I did with some of them. I cut the center out for these flowers right here, so I was just going to use some of this paper because you're going to cover it up in a minute. So I just cut 3, and I embossed it with exposed brick embossing folder to give it a little brick look. So let's adhere that one next. It's our next level. I found this to be a very cheerful and bright card. Thought it was really pretty. Everybody really liked it. And those that gave it to their mothers really enjoyed it. All right, now the next level is all these arches are cut from this pack of paper called Floral Delight. And I used this piece, and this one. And there's several others in here too. It's a really pretty pack of paper, and I've been using it quite a bit and making lots of cards with it. So that's our next level, and we cut them with this arch, which is, let's see, the 5th to the largest. So this is the 5th to the largest arch. And I put the white one on this end, and this one on that end, and that in the middle. But you can put them anywhere you want to, and actually there's another side to some of these, so you could mix it up. Alright, so let's put this one down. I've already got, and I put dimensionals on this next level to pop it up just a little bit. We found out if you do too much popping on this card, it's really fat and would be hard to mail. All right, now we've got our Granny Apple Green arch, our Daffodil Delight arch, and our Floral Delight Designer Series paper arch. Now the next level are our Storybook Friends dies. And I cut all those out of basic white. I used this one, and this one in the middle, and this one on the other end. So I used all three of them, and I've already got those adhered down. So here's one of them. Here is this one. Here's that one, and then here's the one on the end. So that part I just adhered down. Now the middle, let's look at the middle one first. This is one where we stamped the sentiment. And on this one I'm going to put Happy Birthday, but on the others we put Happy Mother's Day for those that wanted it for Mother's Day. And just pop this up. And then I cut this greenery from, I don't want that stuck there. I cut this greenery from Country Flower dies, and this set has just retired unfortunately, but I like this little circle of leaves. And I took my paper snips and I cut off this one right here, so I could use it up at the top. So let's see, we're going to glue this one down here. Let me get my glue. Just put a little bit of glue here and there. Just kind of pop it down. I want those going in the corner. And then I cut these flowers. These little flowers you see are from the Happy Hibiscus dies. I put the large one there. One of the small ones right here in the corner. And then up here in this corner, I stuck this little leaf because I wanted something to kind of offset it. A little interest up here too, so I'm going to stick that right there. And then I stuck the other little, now these little flowers were cut from Lemon Lolly. The big ones were cut from Daffodil Delight, but these were Lemon Lolly. So there's our middle section. This section I've already completed, and I left this one blank so you could sign it. And we used one of the Lemon Lolly here, the Country Flower die again with the leaves, and two little Daffodil Delights. And then I just put pearls in the middle of all these flowers. Now over here on this end, I cut flowers out of Daffodil Delight from the Impressions of Bloom dies. And I used the big one and the middle one and the other one. In fact, these are them right here. And I cut the centers. Now, I found these are easier to cut if you go ahead and use a little painter's tape and stick them together, because there are two parts. There's the center part, and then you've got to cut the outside out. So it works better, like I said, and even the centers, it's better if you tape those together and cut them once. That way you don't have to run it through twice. And you need a little tape there to make sure they don't fall apart on you. I also took these and put a little bit of crushed curry with the brush around the edges. You see this one I did a little darker. This one I just kind of did a little bit around the edge just to give them a little variety of color. So those are the flowers we're going to use, but the leaves were punched out of Granny Apple Green with the bow punch. If you have that one, I think that one might have just retired, but it's a good one to have, and maybe you already have it. So any leaves that you have really will work. So let's just pop a little bit of glue on here, and I want one leaf to go way up here at the top. And then I want another one, and I punched 3, and I felt like I needed all 3 to fill in some. This one I want to come way down here, and then the third one is kind of a filler, and I want some of it to show over here in this corner like this. Now let's see if we can cover all these stems up with our flowers. Let's start with the big one. I'm going to put it at the bottom. I always put my largest flower down at the bottom for the weight to offset. And then we're going to put the next to the largest one in the middle, and I kind of overlapped them a little bit like that. And then we've got this one, the smallest one, and we're just going to stick him here like that. There we go. And then these little, I call them little pods, were punched when you punch the leaves. And I can't stand not using them, so I'm going to use them here just to add a little more interest. And let's see, where can we put another one? Let's put one, is that the right side? Let's see. When you punch something, there really usually isn't a right and wrong side. I'm going to stick this one in here. Have a little interest there. And let's see. I think I'm going to use this one. I didn't use it on my other card, but I think I'm going to use it right here in this little hole. Just kind of stick it in there like that. Okay. Look at there. We're through with the card. Isn't that beautiful? So when you fold it up, you've got the big flowers on the front, so that's the first thing the person sees when they take the card out of the envelope. And then they see their sentiment and then your signature. But isn't that beautiful? Don't you love this card? I think it's really, really great. Alright, so I'd love for you to like my video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I'd love to be your demonstrator if you don't have one. Until next time, happy crafting.